happening, TwT fans? It is so good to be back on this September 19th, 2024. And as always, I'm so glad to see so many of you coming back for more. This is episode 233. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. That's right, for subscribing, sharing, and doing all the things that you do. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the podcast, stopping by, checking it out, you got to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, if you want to tell your story or be a guest on the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com is the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out, but send it on over to the official email of the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. And then, of course, don't forget about the Linktree link. It's going to give you access to everything TwT. Go ahead and follow and subscribe, and you can copy that link and share it with everybody you know. Hopefully they like it as much as you do, but you can also just click the share button on the episode right now, and that'll do the same thing. So thank you, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Let's get into the podcast. All right, well, what's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing well out there. I will say that I have little to no time to get this done. I fell asleep. I didn't get prepared. And I woke up this morning and I was in a panic. And then I didn't adjust my razor on for my beard. So it's gone. It's gone, everybody. I'm so mad. You ever do that? You're half asleep. You don't do things exactly the way that you normally do, and something always goes wrong. Well, 2 years worth of work is gone, so it's fine. It'll probably take a couple weeks for it to come back, but man, I took it from here all the way up to the chin. One swipe, and it was over after that. So, anyways, that's why that's why I look this way. I'm so mad. Oh, it's so shocking to see this face, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so that's my troubles this morning. That's what happens, I wake up late and I make mistakes. I make mistakes in a foggy state of mind. Speaking of mistakes, I wanted to retouch on the Lilly thing that I had gone over with everybody. I was absolutely 100% incorrect. They were not trying to stop generic drugs from being made because they wanted to be the only one. It's because the drug Ozempic is brand new. They ran out of supply, and when they ran out of supply, there was other companies that had whatever they needed in supply without the blood thinner in it. And so they were directed to start making a generic because of the shortage with the original Ozempic formula. And now that they have enough of the compound or whatever it was that they were missing, now that they have enough of it, they want everybody to stop making a generic version of it because you're supposed to be 5 years before anybody can make a generic. So they needed them to make a generic. They started making a generic, but it was only within the first year of this product being out. So now that they have a supply, they have to stop everybody from doing it. And, once the cat's out of the bag and people have paid and insurance has covered certain things, it's going to be really hard to put that cat back in the bag, I think. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that real quick because I was wrong, like I am a lot of the times. But the one thing that I can be happy about myself for is that I'm not stuck, right? I'm not stuck with my ideas and my thoughts because, well, most of the time I never had any ideas or thoughts because I was too drunk. So when I have one and I run with it and then somebody's like, hey, did you read this and look into it? And I go, uh-oh. So I did, and I was like, oh, yep, I made a boo-boo, So I wanted to, always reflect on that. But, when you're paying $1,000 for a monthly, I guess I could call it a subscription, but it's not prescription of Ozempic, and you're paying, I think it's $1,000 to $1,400 people are paying. I don't know if that's a week or a month. If that's a month, that's crazy. If it's a week, that's insane. And the other ones, the one that begins with an M, and the other one, they were like $24 after insurance. So I think it's going to make it very difficult for them to put that back in the bag, because people that were incapable of affording Ozempic are now capable of affording the generic, and now they want to take the generic away. I think that's going to be a giant issue. I'm making some real life decisions, and when my friend Keith passed, I really started reflecting on what I was doing with my life, where I am in my life, and where do I want to be later in life. And I think I've finally made an absolute decision on what I want to do. I just have to implement it and not be afraid of it and just dive right in. Some people, abandon everything and move to Costa Rica to get a life change. Jesse, we're going to miss you. I'm looking forward to all of your podcasts coming up. Yeah, that's right, Jesse Harless. So if you listen or watch his podcast on YouTube, and if you do, that's great. If you don't, you need to. It's amazing. The things that they talk about, the recovery of basically any addiction, which is what I've been talking about for years on here. It's not about what you're addicted to. It's about addiction in general. And addiction in general is just difficult to deal with. It doesn't matter if it's food, if it's drugs, if it's sex. An addiction is an addiction, and we all suffer from it. And when you treat it as an addiction, it doesn't make it that much easier to deal with, but it does make you realize that there is something that you can work on to better yourself. Like, I treat my anger as an addiction. I treat this as an addiction. Everything is an addiction to me, because if I wasn't addicted to it, I wouldn't do it, I believe. And they cover some amazing topics, and he has some amazing guests on, which is something that I would love to do myself. I got to get some more guests back on the podcast, but other than that, everything else is going pretty well. And yeah, I'll be right back. T-shirts, I still have them. Not many. I do want to say thank you to everybody who has purchased a t-shirt. I still can't figure out how to set up my store. I'm having trouble with a lot of things. I'm very busy, and I just can't find the time to get this thing on my YouTube channel. But if you email me, let me know what size you are. I'm blowing out the last of these shirts for like $15. So let me know if you're interested by sending an email. All right, it's right here at the bottom of the screen. It's also a clickable link in the description, but t-shirts still available. And again, thank you everybody for your purchases, and thank you to all my guests for rocking my tees and spreading the word. I really do appreciate it. That was a short break. I'm back now. I had to go and say goodbye because we're all getting ready for work around here. So I gotta go drop my dad's truck off. I finally got my cabinets from my garage. I am fucking pumped, everybody. All right, but with all that being said, we're gonna get into Topher's topics. All right, so a woman was found dead in her cubicle 4 days after clocking in. What happened here? Right, the deceased worker was identified as Denise Prudhomme, age 60. Let's see what happened here. This is wild.
Reaction to it was I was confused. I didn't know what was going on.
Wells Fargo employees near Priest Drive and Washington Street found out a coworker who clocked in on August 16th at 7 a.m. wasn't found until 4 days later. Tempe police got the call on August 20th from on-site security, who believed she was dead. Police later identified the woman as 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme. Employees who spoke with us off camera or wanted to remain anonymous say the news came as a shock, especially because many people work on the same floor. However, they say it's a rotating door with employees on hybrid schedules.
So I wasn't in last week. We have A-B schedule. So I'm assuming she is part A. I don't even know where her team was because my manager used to be in a different state.
Tempe police say the preliminary investigation did not show any obvious signs of foul play, and the cause of death will come from the medical examiner's office.
Like, I was just thinking about her family, like, for 4 days. Was anyone looking for her? Like, I'm looking forward to seeing, like, more about that, too.
Wells Fargo wrote in a statement, "Our thoughts are with her family and loved ones, and we are in contact to ensure they are well supported during this difficult time. We are committed to the safety and wellness of our workforce." The statement goes on to say counselors are available to support any employees impacted by this event.
My condolences to her family, anyone that she worked with on the team.
Wow. Temp police say this is an ongoing investigation.
My reaction to it was,
Holy shit, everybody. That is wild. So, no foul play. I guess with all this new hybrid working from home and people not having to be in the office anymore, when you just, because my friend Tyler does this too. He works from home like 4 days of the week and then goes to the actual office like 1 day a week. I might be like off by that a little bit. I know he's told me in the past, but my brain doesn't work so well. So when you have people doing that and going in and out, you know, the office, I guess, is always open. So nobody even realized that she was supposed to be there, because some of the people that were like, hey, they weren't even in for a week, you know? So that's wild, man. That's wild that you can die in the office and nobody will find you for fucking 4 days. It's so crazy to me. We've got a judge grants restraining order against cybersecurity expert who exposed the extent of the city's data breach. Now, why are we punishing these people? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me why we're punishing the people that are finding these breaches. Like, if we watch this video and this guy did something that potentially could steal information and maybe run the company into the ground, I don't know, like something illegal, wrong, I could understand that part of it, right? Like, I could understand that, like, now we have to keep him out of the building. But my assumption is, from just reading the article title earlier, is that this guy found a leak, told him about it, and now they, instead of fixing it and saying thank you, they're holding this person liable for breaking it. But shouldn't we be commending these people? Shouldn't we be commending the whistleblowers? Shouldn't we be super happy about these people who are finding these ways to steal our information and to take all of our money and shut our lives down and I don't know, working for companies that are doing wrongdoing, that are cheaping out on parts, that are just being liars and cheats to make a buck and to make profits. And we have people that are whistleblowing on them, and they are telling us the truth, and they're letting us know that these companies are horrible. And because the companies hold so much power, the government and the people in charge then turn around and make these people the bad guys. They're not the bad guys, right? They're the good guys. We should not be doing this to them. We should not. We should be saying, thank you. Show me how you did this. Is there a way we can fix it? Like, we should be looking into the planes and the people that died just before court, and Boeing and their space shuttle. Oh, well, going into space, anything we do for the first time, it's going to be an issue. Yes, understandable, but we're talking about a company who's had nothing but issues, right? After issue, after issue, after issue, and then the people that are supposed to testify against them wind up dead. So it's not about Boeing's first attempt at space. It's about Boeing as a collective company of a piece of shit company who doesn't keep our lives and our safety in mind anymore because they're too worried about their profit. And now people are trying to tell on them and they're dying. So is this guy actually a threat? Is the restraining order actually necessary? Or did he find something that can be corrected and he should be thanked for the work that he's done? Let's find out.
If there is information that needs to be brought forward, that there's a way to disclose that information to law enforcement and not going directly to the media.
Well, tonight the city is going after a whistleblower who's been working with TwT and other media outlets to make you aware of what city information is now on the dark web. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Yolanda Harris.
And I'm Andrew Kinsey. This evening, a judge granted a request from the city for a temporary restraining order against Connor Goodwolf. This means Goodwolf can no longer download or disseminate city information from the dark web. But during a news conference today, we had some tough questions for the city attorney, Zach Klein, about why they made this decision.
It's not about speech, and I want to be very clear about this. It's about the action. It's about actions. It's about the action of downloading, disclosing, and disseminating information.
On Thursday, the city of...
But hold on. Wait. I've already got a rebuttal. Why? Why would we be shutting them up? Why would we be quiet? Why are we trying to make this person quiet, right? He didn't leak the information. He found the information on the dark web. So if it's already out on the dark web and he's downloading it to bring it to your attention, that's a good thing, everybody. That's a very good thing. Did you know that that information was out on the dark web? There is, I believe, millions of people right now that have had their information put on the dark web because of some giant hack that just happened. I can't remember the name of where it was, but I kept reading the article here and there because I was wondering what company it was and whether or not I could be involved in this leak. So is this guy actually wrong, or are we doing wrong by shutting him up?
Columbus asked for and was granted a temporary restraining order against cybersecurity expert Connor Goodwolf. The TRO claims Goodwolf has caused irreparable harm and widespread concern for downloading the city's leaked data off the dark web and telling news outlets about it. On Wednesday, Goodwolf told TwT the Columbus Police Matrix was on the dark web, which led to the city's actions Thursday.
It is gone to the next level to where there is potential suspects, undercover officers whose data is out there.
For weeks now, Goodwolf has been revealing data to TwT's Terry Jabor and other reporters. So Klein was asked if his actions is to prevent the city from simply being embarrassed.
And I go back to the fact that this is 2.5 weeks into Connor, being out there. So if this is really about some sort of embarrassment, why wouldn't you file it 2.5 weeks ago?
Goodwolf told TwT he reached out to the city's attorney's office on August 13th to try and alert them to this information being out there before going to the media, and was told that the city was aware of the hack and thanked him, but never pursued it any further.
Well, that's on them then. I mean, there's still a minute left of this, but I'm done with it because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, man. You thanked him and you did nothing. But now you're going to put a restraining order on this gentleman who helped you. And because your incompetence and your stupidity in not acting upon what he was giving you, now you are embarrassed and you have to put a stop to it. What you should have done is you should have looked into it immediately with the information that they gave you. I'm sorry. This is absolutely on the town or the city or whatever. This is ridiculous. I'm so upset with the fact that we constantly put whistleblowers down, but without them, we will never get the truth. And that's all they keep trying to do is stop the truth. They don't want anybody to know that they got hacked. They don't want you to know that your information's out there. They don't want to know that this stuff has been done. They just want to bury it. If you have undercover officers' names on a list, don't you think you would be working really, really hard to get that information off the dark web, or to find out how it got there? Or maybe there's a leak within your department that's selling off information. Maybe you have a mole. But instead, we blockade and we put a restraining order on somebody who helped you and you thanked. This is wrong, right? Let's see here. Everybody, you know how much I love talking about obesity. Well, I have got a chart for everybody. This is wild, man. Obesity by state and territories in 2022, all U.S. states and territories had an obesity prevalence higher than 20%, more than 1 in 5 adults. This is by design, everybody. This is by design. It's because of all the stuff in our food. It's because of the way that we have been taught to eat, you know, the triangle. The pyramid of food or whatever that I grew up on was completely wrong and completely upside down. So this is all been by their design. This is what they have caused. By telling us that we were supposed to eat a specific way, by encouraging the sugar companies and all the other companies out there that were just for the money. This is what they've done to our entire country. So, as you can see, in the white is 24%. As you get pink, it's 28. Really pink is 32. Turning red is 36. And the red is 40% of people have obesity in that state. New Hampshire is at a 30.2%. But you can see this chart right here, and I mean, just look at the amount of obesity. I mean, it's crazy how many dark red states we have that are so close to 40% of the population of that state are overweight, which means you could be on disability. You may need government assistance to help you. And the fact that they made obesity a handicap is also by design. Like I said, and I've been saying for a long time, this is meant to keep you sick. They want you sick. They want you dependent on them. If you're not sick and in the hospital staying sick, they're not making any money. So if they don't make you fat or sick or give you some drug for some made up fucking thing in your head, because I'm sorry, I was on antidepressants. I was on antipsychotics and mood stabilizers and high anxiety medication. I was on so much shit. Klonopins and Ritalin and all these things, man. I could go through a laundry list of the pills that I was on for 20 fucking years. They're made to keep us sick. You know what was keeping me sick at the end of the day? Was alcohol. Alcohol was keeping me sick. Alcohol was helping them keep me sick. And once I got rid of alcohol and my body started feeling, I guess you could say, normal, or I could feel my body, I guess, I realized, hey, something's wrong here. Something is really wrong here. And when I started investigating it for myself, of course, I'm not going to tell anybody else to go and do what I did without talking to a doctor. And I know I just said that they try to keep you sick. Not all of them. If you've got a doctor that won't even listen to you or answer your questions realistically, you need a new doctor, right? That's on you. I've had many doctors, and I've had many therapists, and I've had many everything. Because why? Because there's not one for everything. That's why there's so many of them out there. And if you are not clicking with somebody, you need to get rid of them. You don't work for them. They work for you. Your insurance pays them. This pays them. So fuck them. Take care of yourself. But if you're addicted to a drug or you're still doing certain things and you haven't kicked that addiction, then these drugs may be helping you. But for me, the alcohol was the problem. When I got off the alcohol, I found out that the drugs made me feel really weird. Once I got myself off the drugs, all of a sudden, I'm not having any problems anymore because I was using a depressant to make me happy. Well, you can't do that, everybody. You can't do that. And then I'm on antidepressants, but dosing myself with a depressant. Well, what? No wonder I had to keep turning it up. All of this is very, very sad. It really is, because this is all by design, because if they can keep us sick, they can keep us fat, they can control us. And when they can control us, they will get exactly what they want. So we're going to have a brand new drug lab, everybody. This is wild. In New Hampshire. It's going to be built in Londonderry, and it's Drug Enforcement Administration Lab. So there's been a lot of drugs coming into New Hampshire, and every time they find out what the drug has been mixed with, I guess it changes. And now they want a drug lab in Londonderry to test all the drugs to see what's going on, where it's coming from. So we are going to have an actual lab built in Londonderry for this specific reason.
1, 2, 3. This plot of land in Londonderry may be filled with brush now, but it'll soon turn into this, a state-of-the-art DEA laboratory meant to test drugs pulled off the street.
This is just a game changer.
Senator Jean Shaheen secured $50 million to build the lab a few years ago. Now,
sadly, we're seeing a flood of fentanyl, synthetic opioids coming into our market.
In fact, the DEA's Manchester office has seized 100 pounds of fentanyl so far this year. That's 4.7 million deadly doses. Once it's up and running, officials say the lab is expected to analyze more than 5,000 exhibits a year.
So if, for example, there's a mass drug poisoning event, we're going to be able to take those substances, bring them into our laboratory, identify them immediately, and then get the word out to the public as a safety message.
Historically, if the DEA had to test potential fentanyl, agents had to drive it to its already busy lab in New York City. That can consume critical time when law enforcement is trying to keep up with an ever-changing illicit drug trade and spotting new ones.
Whenever we've identified a substance, the dealers find a new substance that they can use that is even more dangerous. So the more we can identify, the better.
Now, that lab is expected to open in April of 2026. We also spoke with some local police there who say at certain points they've had to reach out to federal partners for help in their investigations, and this will help in those moments as well.
Interesting. So, I don't know, man. I think, sure. Get a drug lab, spend $50 million. I mean, it was probably, I don't know, I will end up paying that back. Taxes will go up because of it, but that's going to be in Londonderry, and they already have high taxes, so I guess I don't care that much. But I don't know if this is actually going to help, because if you are out there and you are buying drugs today, right, I really, really worry about your health, because if you don't know, fentanyl is in everything, and you can get a fentanyl test kit, I believe, on fucking Amazon, everybody. That simple. You are doing yourself a disservice anyways. You should, all parents, hey, if your kids are turning into teenagers, right, you know they're going to be fucking stupid, right? We were all stupid when we were teenagers. We're all pretty stupid today. We're a little bit smarter than we were. But at the end of the day, when we were kids, and including myself, I had no worries about anything. I thought I was invincible. Well, they all still think they're invincible. It hasn't changed. Everything that we did when we were growing up is everything that they're going to do as they are growing up. The only difference is the laws have changed. The way that they deal with things have changed. So everything is more, let's say, risky today, because the laws have changed so drastically that anybody who gets caught with this stuff on them could do a lot of time, right? We were going to do some time when we were kids. We were always worried about getting caught with marijuana. It was definitely going to be a 1 to 3 year charge for a joint. That has changed for the better. This stuff is awful, and now they're putting it in everything. They're putting it in the blue pill that gives you Viagra. They're putting it in Viagra, right? They're making fake Viagra pills. Let's be real about that. They're making fake Adderall. They're making fake Vicodin and whatever the drug is that is very popular right now. Think of any ADHD medication. Think of any medication that your child is going to the doctor for today. You can buy that on Snapchat, for Christ's sakes. And you can get these pills. You need Adderall. There's a shortage. Go to Snapchat, buy the Adderall. It's all laced with fentanyl, everybody. I don't encourage this. I don't think it's a good idea. You go to the dark web and you order drugs from the dark web. You don't think those are all dirty and impressed with something else? You don't think that every pill that you see on Snapchat is compressed with fentanyl? It is. I think it all is. I don't think there's any pills today that you can get anywhere else except for a pharmacy that aren't contaminated. And I'm really hoping I'm right about that. The pharmacy should not have contaminated pills, right? And if they do, we have a major, major issue. From what I know and from what I've looked into so far, it's just everything being distributed on the black red web, Snapchat, and on the streets. Because that stuff is all coming in. It's all cartel. It's all from Mexico. It's all from here. It's all from there. And it's all being pressed with fentanyl. Now, you only caught 100 pounds of fentanyl this year? How many tons of pounds of fentanyl made it through then? Oh, we caught 100 pounds. 100 pounds? Oh, that's 4.7 million people that could have died. Yeah, but they do it by metric tons, for Christ's sakes. So, if you only caught 100 pounds, shit, there's so much out there. There's so much out there, and I just want everybody to be safe. Like I said many times, please do your research. If you're going to try something for the first time today, it's very dangerous. You should think that fentanyl is in everything, and you should get your kids, or you guys should be going on Amazon or wherever and finding yourself a drug testing kit to test the drugs before you take them today. You really should. I'm not encouraging drugs. I think drugs fucked up my life very badly. I definitely am glad I did not have an addiction to any uppers and opiates and stuff like that. I'm very thankful that alcohol was the only poison that I was attracted to. But at the end of the day, man, when are we going to get to a point where people are putting fentanyl in alcohol? Like, I have this belief, and they came out with some even more potent fucking type of fentanyl, not the car fentanyl. There's another one above that now. So as if a speck the size of a tip of a pencil that could kill you wasn't bad enough, now there's something even smaller that can kill you. And I can't remember the name of it, and I apologize for that, but please do your due diligence out there. And if you're going to do drugs, test them first today, okay? Please. This is awful, man. Awful that this is happening to people. Scientists discover 1,700 new species of ancient viruses in rapidly melting permafrost from the Himalayas. What? Wait a minute. I don't want any more viruses. And now you're finding 1,700 new species of ancient ones? What are we even talking about here? This is a 4-minute and so it's a 5-minute video, and we are going to just kind of hopefully get the gist here.
Yeah, I just came back from a trip to Brazil in February where I was sampling bird poo from the Pantanal region in collaboration with the Brazilian Navy. So
yeah, not quite the same, but kind of.
No, different climate, definitely a different climate.
But how cool is it that work like, and how important is it that work like this is being done?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing that through what we call high throughput sequencing, which is where we can sample any kind of environment and sequence all of the genetic material quite quickly and quite cost effectively. Now we can understand how viruses have evolved instead of just across the course of maybe one infection or infections across time periods of, say, months or years. We can now understand it over periods of 41,000 years.
Yeah. And so you weren't part of this actual program, but give us an idea from what you've read of what they've found.
Yeah, so they identified 1,700 novel virus species, as you said, but these are not really species we've seen before. They're not closely related to anything we've seen before. And these viruses infect bacteria. So we call these bacteriophage. So they're not going to infect humans, they're not going to infect animals, they specifically infect bacteria. And the scientists took samples from 9 time periods over 3 cold and warm cycles in the Earth's climate. And they found that the types of viruses they saw really correlated with those cold and warm periods and correlated with the type of bacteria you would expect to see as well. The glacial areas, you're not really going to see a lot of diversity of species there. Viruses are obligate parasites. They have to have a host in order to reproduce. So if there's no people there or no animals there, there's not going to be viruses there that can infect people or animals.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, this is just wild that we're coming across 1,700 new viruses. I mean, you know what they're going to do with those, right? They're going to put them in a lab and they're going to play with them. They're going to inspect them, and they're going to look into them, and they're going to go, oh, maybe I can do this, and maybe we can do that, and maybe if we understand this virus, I can make this anti-vaccine or this vaccine for this virus, and and then they drop a vial, and it escapes the lab. And this time, there's no stopping it. Look, I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore, but I swear that all they're doing is trying to scare us today. It's all about scaring us. And the people walking around with a mask on today are obviously extremely petrified of life. So I think they're doing a good job of scaring most of the people out there. Or some, they're definitely getting good. They've gotten a lot, some of the people out there. Some, not a lot, not most, some. I think I see a mask every 50 people. You know what I mean? Which is sad. Because those people need to realize that what they're doing is they're just harming themselves by staying in those fucking masks and not breathing nice fresh air, and they're restricting their breathing. And I think eventually you're going to see a lot of problems with people wearing the mask because they're going to have respiratory issues. But they are just trying to scare us. Now they're trying to scare us again. Oh, well, we found 1,700. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, man, there has been viruses on this planet forever. And I think, honestly, these people are constantly trying to keep us on the edge of, like, oh my God, well, tell me what to do, because if there's a virus out there, what do I do? Like, I just don't care anymore. You can't tell me to put on a mask. You can't tell me that you're going to be able to protect me. You can't tell me to take a vaccine, because if it has mRNA in it, I'm not taking it. I think you guys made a mistake, and you are just not backtracking from it. You're doubling down like you always do with everything, and it's not right. And what you should do with these viruses that you found is you should eradicate them. Burn them. Whatever you got to do to make them go away, you should take the opportunity to kill them right now. But you're not going to. And that's what's upsetting to me. Because if we have these viruses and they're super dangerous, kill them. Kill the viruses. Get rid of them. Maybe make some documentation or whatever, you know. But to actually keep the virus on file and to manipulate it and to make vaccines for it, what if you had the opportunity to just kill it entirely before it had the chance to do what COVID did? You probably had the chance to eradicate the COVID virus, but instead you decided to manipulate it and see if you could make a vaccine for it. I think that's a good idea for viruses we're still battling. But if you found something that has not and did not exist until now because you just found it, shouldn't we be taking that opportunity to eradicate it immediately? I don't know. So let's see here. We got a U.S. Justice Department sues RealPage, alleging it enabled price fixing on rents. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on with AI today, and it is bullshit, everybody. It is crazy. They are allowing it to manipulate our mortgages and your rents. This is so wrong, and I'm glad that somebody is finally putting an end to this. It looks like, the high cost of all of this has been generated mostly by AI, because what I've looked into so far is the landlord, let's just say landlord, goes to AI and puts in an algorithm. This is what I'm renting everything for. This is the market today. This is how many apartments I have, and this is what I have. So tell me what I should be doing to better my profit with my apartments and everything I got going on. And the algorithm goes, okay, you should be charging X amount of dollars for the rent. Now, because of the way that the world is right now, and because of everything going on, what you should do is you should rent them out at, let's just say, I don't know, $1,400 a month. If it's this apartment, that apartment, if it's bigger, you can get almost $2,100. We're throwing numbers out there. Okay, now you got 14, you got 2,100, you have 500 apartments. You should leave 50 of those open. But then you turn around and you say you're absolutely booked. You have no more room. Now those 50 apartments can go for $100 to $400 more a month. And because you said you were limited, people will be like, I'll take it. Because so many people are having trouble finding places, but the algorithms and these companies are working against you. And I can't believe it, but some of these people are literally renting them out at the maximum that they can rent them out. They're leaving apartments open, and they're using those as tools to make even more money. It's so disgusting. And I'm hoping that this article here, this thing I'm talking about, I'm hoping that this is why they're getting sued. Let's find out, though, right? I mean, this is crazy that they can do this to us. I said this AI stuff is too early, and it's going to literally just fuck us all over.
The federal government is making moves to bring down the high cost of housing. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell indicates that interest rate cuts are coming at the Fed's September meeting. And the Department of Justice has filed an antitrust case against a company that makes software used by competing landlords.
Yeah, there it is.
Bring down rental prices.
Yep.
CBS News senior business and tech correspondent Jolene Kent is covering it all.
Everybody knows the rent is too damn high.
Today, the Justice Department and 8 states sued software company RealPage, alleging it illegally helped landlords unfairly fix prices and raise rents throughout the country.
And Americans should not have to pay more in rent simply because a company has found a new way to scheme with landlords to break the law.
The DOJ accused the Texas-based company of violating antitrust laws, saying RealPage engaged in price fixing by using confidential information like rental rates in its algorithm that tended to maximize price increases on 3 million properties.
Wow.
RealPage has found a modern way to violate a century-old law and to harm consumers in the process. Training a machine to break the law is still breaking the law.
In response, RealPage said its software is purposely built to be legally compliant, adding that landlords decide their own rent prices, always have 100% discretion to accept or reject software price recommendations. Rent is the leading driver of inflation, jumping another 5.1% in July compared to last year.
Bullshit.
Savannah Crosby in San Antonio says she spends 60% of her $40,000 a year salary on rent and says it's gone up 7 out of the last 8 years.
It's pretty disheartening. I just think it's so wrong because it's a disadvantage for so many Americans out there that are just trying to make a living and live comfortably.
It is. But yeah, I mean, this is absolutely disgusting when we are all spending 60% of our rent, our money, our everything on just to live somewhere, just to put a roof over your head today, when this was such an achievable thing when I was growing up. And to see it completely disappear and to see the cost of everything going up. And I don't know if cutting the interest rate is going to help. According to a couple people I've talked to, because I own my house already, the half of a percentage that they bring it down or whatever will make the value of my house go up. I don't know, people. I don't know. All I know is that they didn't cut the interest rates. They jacked them up a couple times. They left them steady. They were supposed to bring them back down. Everybody has been leaning on inflation for inflating their prices. All they're showing is enormous profits, which is, if you're having inflation, it shouldn't be giant profits. The fact that everybody is going off of profits and profits have to increase every year, there has got to be a limitation on this. We need to tighten up all of these corporations. We need to stop them from doing what they're doing. It all needs to be fixed. The whole point of them being able to make their products cheaper when they export, or I guess when they export it to production in another company, the company got it cheaper, they bring it into the U.S., we're supposed to benefit from that. Nobody is benefiting from any of this anymore. We are all being robbed. These corporations are becoming monopolies, and all they give a shit about is profits. And as for the renters and the landlords, if you're out there and you're actually trying to do it right and you're trying to get people housing and it's at a somewhat affordable price today, I commend you, because I feel like 80% of everybody out there is just trying to rip us off. And I feel so bad for everybody trying to get out of the house today that are, they're in college and they don't want to be home anymore and they're trying to make a future for themselves. And literally they are at a roadblock because you can't make enough money to move out of the house and have your own roof anymore. And it's just absolutely sad. It's absolutely sad. And I hope that this is the start of something that will stop this from happening, and we can stop these people from doing what they're doing to everybody out there. And then maybe we can have somewhat of an American dream come back, and that would start with everybody being able to get an education, get a job, and at least get a house and provide for your family. That's the whole point of all of this. Otherwise, what are we doing? If you can't afford anything and you can't do anything, then what is the point of everything? Right? I don't know. All right, here we go. We're going to have some fun. I know everybody's been talking about this. I know I am really behind the 8 ball on this one, but my God, I saw this the other day and I went, what is this? I guess breakdancing will never come back to the Olympics. And we have this Australian breakdancer to thank for it. Now, a lot of conspiracies came up. Her husband is on some chair of the thing, and they made a spot for her. I believe that she really had her husband duped. But this, I'm not going to play the music. I'm going to talk through it. But this is absolutely hilarious, everybody. So this woman said she could breakdance. She is breakdancing for Australia, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen, because this is not breakdancing, everybody. It's not breakdancing whatsoever. This is just moving around, and I guess she's a jazz dancer and a tap dancer, and I guess she's ballet, which shows, but this shows me she doesn't know the first thing about breakdancing, nor did she ever try to do breakdancing. You're like, what are we doing? This is not breakdancing, everybody. This is striking a pose and stopping and like, oh my God, man. It's so painful to watch. I don't know if you've ever watched a real breakdancer or if you've ever seen somebody like, they had some amazing dancers too. I didn't watch the full breakdancing, but they had some amazing dancers. And then you have this person get on stage and just make a mockery of the thing. I mean, it is awful. Absolutely awful. I can't watch anymore. It makes me so mad that this would be something that you could even do. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to me. This is the world we live in today. This woman had no right to be on that stage, had no right to enter the Olympics as a breakdancer. Whether somebody was on the committee or somebody got her in or somebody did her a favor or maybe she told everybody she could do it, and because she had a dancing background, they just believed her and they were like, we'll wait till we're at the Olympics for you to show us what you can do. Huh? Shouldn't you be practicing and showing everybody what you can do before you get into the Olympics? Don't you have to go through some strenuous training before you actually get into the Olympics? So by those standards, you would have shown everybody that you don't know how to breakdance, right? So I believe this is the new world we live in, where people are so blinded by everything that they believe that they can do anything, you know? And they can't. And we need to stop encouraging it. Your kids are not perfect. They can't do everything. They can't do anything. You got to stop praising them. You got to stop taking obstacles out of the way, and you got to stop allowing them to manipulate you to think that they can do something that they can't, because you're so blinded by just keeping them happy, right? This happy-go-lucky world that they are trying to paint doesn't exist. And this person, obviously, nobody watched her breakdance, because if you had seen that before she got there, she wouldn't be there. And then now she has made a mockery of the damn thing, and on top of it, they're never bringing the breakdancing back to the Olympics. So congratulations, Australia, on making the breakdancing look stupid and having it looked at as not an Olympic sport. And that's too bad, because I will tell you that breakdancers who get into jiu-jitsu, like wrestlers, have a different style, and they can do amazing things, because breakdancing is actually very hard, very strenuous, and man, it takes a lot of skill and balance, and it's actually very, very difficult to do. And I think this is just a true example of where our country is today, where the world is today. It's really sad, and I feel like she gets a trophy for waking up, and her husband just tries to give her everything, and he's like, I know you can't do this, but I'm going to let you do it because, you know, hey, everybody, I got to get my dick sucked tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Why else would this be happening, right? So, woo, everybody. All right, I got to get going to work, everybody. I got to go bring my dad's truck back, and thank you for letting me use that so I could get the cabinets here, and you know, hopefully I'll be more awake next time I go to shave. And, yeah, it's just really weird after 2 years seeing my face again. So hope it didn't freak you out too much. But on that note, everybody, I want to say thank you as always. Remember to subscribe if you're new. Talkinwithtopher at gmail.com is the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out. Don't forget about the Linktree link. Share it, copy it, paste it, click it, do all those things. Share the podcast. All right, everybody, it really does help. And then, of course, I hope everybody out there has an amazing Thursday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.